Hello and welcome to Hollywood Approved with Yael and Kristen. Each episode is an exploration of taste as we dive into the good, the bad, and the unexpected in TV and movies. Tune in for the celebrity guests, but stay for the surprising recommendations. Plus, we are getting creative with modernizations and fan casting some of our favorites. This is Hollywood Approved. Yay!
Hey, I love that.
Thank you. Welcome. I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm joined as always by Kristen Maldonado. Hello, Kristen.
Hello.
We have a very special guest today.
Oh, hi guys.
So excited. Wendy Lee Szany is here. Hello, Wendy.
How are you?
How are you doing? We're so happy that you're joining us.
I'm doing so good. I'm trying not to sweat too much. It's like a humid day in LA today. I don't know what it is.
I feel that. I have a fan literally right here behind my mic, so I'm like, I hope nobody can hear it because it is so hot.
You got like Beyonce hair right now. There you
go. Awesome. Wendy, you do another show on, you do a show on the Hollywood Critics Association channel. Tell us about that.
Yes, I co-host a show with Jamie Philbrick. It's called Pop Council, where we take a dive into the latest, trendiest pop culture or, pop culture nerdy news. So if you like your superheroes, we got you. If you like your Star Wars, we got you. If you love Lord of the Rings, we also got you. And both of you have actually guested on the show before.
Yes, and now we're happy to have you on our new show.
Yay! I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Also, you have other channels and things that you're doing. You're always doing things. Where can everyone keep up with everything you're doing?
I feel like I do too much, and then all of a sudden I burn out for like a week, and then I don't want to do anything at all. But you can find me on YouTube under the Movie Couple channel. My husband and I have the channel together where we do a lot of trailer reactions, TV show discussions, movie reviews, sometimes vlogs. We eat food a lot of times in our vlogs. People tend to like that. So we, pre-pandemic, would drive out to many various places to try out food. Nowadays, not so much, because it just doesn't have the same flavor and consistency when you bring it home. It's been sitting for a while when you bring food home. So I feel like I can't judge food fairly. And we're still not going to do indoor dine-in for now, but stay on the channel and you'll find all the obscure things that we do there. And what else? Hosting wherever I can, do a little hosting gig, sometimes for Sideshow Collectibles, things like that.
That is awesome. Cool.
Thank you.
So let's get into our TV and film discussion. Starting off, Wendy, what is the last thing that you watched?
Okay. I feel like I'm super late to the party on this because everybody has already finished the season. And I'm just like, I'm going to check this off on my list, but better late than never, right? So I just started White Lotus on HBO Max. And the show is not at all what I expected. I don't know. If I was expecting some sort of a Lost type of a situation because they're in Hawaii, so maybe that's where the connection is, because the trailer makes it seem like everything is fun on the surface, but there's something darker looming, just below the surface. And I'm like, oh, what is this? But there's no smoke monsters in this one. It's literally just various people from various walks of life checking into this very luxurious resort called the White Lotus. And you kind of get a deep dive into what may seem like it's a perfect, very rich life, but kind of the harsh reality that sits just underneath all of that facade. It's a really interesting show.
Yeah, I just started watching that last night too, and it's something I feel like, well, there's so many good people in it, but I feel like this is a genre that's very popular right now. We have 9 Perfect Strangers coming, Fantasy Island, and it's all these rich people on an island trying to fix their lives. I'm like, okay, this is the new hot thing for the summer.
Yeah, it is.
I have a
beautiful
question
people
about
in a
this
resort.
show. What is is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Where would you place this show?
I feel like it's a maybe
dark comedy.
Yeah,
maybe?
A dramedy.
Dramedy, yeah, because there is some obscure drama. Obscure comedy in there.
Okay, all right. Kristen, what about you? What is the last thing you watched?
The last thing I watched, The Kissing Booth 3, the final chapter. And this was a fun one because you're wrapping up the story that we've been following for however many years now on Netflix. Of Elle Evans. Will she choose her best friend Lee? Will she choose her one true love Noah? And I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not gonna reveal. But I will say that I think, first of all, they look like they're having a friggin' blast. They're doing the summer beach list, like a beach bucket list, and they're just doing all these crazy things from like swimming with sharks, skydiving. Like they're just doing any fun adventure that you could think of. Like they're doing it. They're filling it up in this summer. And then the way that it ends is very satisfying. I think that they kind of give you what you hope for, what you expect, but also a little bit more. So definitely recommend if you're looking for like a fun summer, just like rom-com, and just like wish you were on the adventures that they were on, because like they look like they had the best time.
How would you compare it? I know that you're a big fan of this teen romance triangle, love triangle, Netflix genre. How would you compare it to your other faves?
I'll be honest, The Kissing Booth is not my favorite of all of the, young adult love stories. And especially the first movie, honestly, I thought it was very like sexist and misogynistic. But I think as the story goes on, you can just tell that it looks like the cast is having so much fun doing all these like fun adventures and doing things together, that like they kind of move on from what they started there in that first movie to just like following the story of this girl trying to figure out who she is before going off to college, which I think everyone can relate to. But I would say not my favorite out of all of the Netflix love stories. Honestly, I feel like all my favorite ones are when they do the Christmas like Netflix world. That's like my favorite love stories. The little holiday universe.
It's coming. The Christmas Prince. The Christmas Prince.
Yes.
All right. I guess, Wendy, you're a fan of these as well.
It's guilty pleasure. I sit there with my pumpkin spice latte and I eat it up.
I see. All right.
She's like, I'm so disappointed in you.
It's fine.
You gotta tell us what was the last thing you watched.
So the last thing I watched was Respect, the Aretha Franklin biopic with Jennifer Hudson. I'm going to say this. It is 2.5 hours long, but it's great. And I love Aretha's music. I was a big fan as a plus size woman, to see a plus size woman who was so successful, and that like the way she looked never was an issue because she was so talented, was really incredible. And so I was excited about this movie, and it's good. It's a good movie, and Jennifer Hudson's great in it. It's long. It's long.
I feel like it's long. Like 1:30, cut it across the board. Movies are just getting too long nowadays. But Jennifer Hudson, I haven't seen the movie, but Jennifer Hudson, her voice is like peak.
Like butter.
Wendy, you saw this movie. What did you think?
I did. I agree with you. It was even before going in, I was like, let me just look up the runtime. Just so you think about like, do I eat before I watch the movie? Am I going to be hungry after? You plan it out. As a Virgo, I like to plan things out. And I was like, oh, it's long. And I definitely, how sometimes you sit in a 2-hour plus movie and you don't feel the 2-hour plus? This one I felt. I actually felt myself like checking my watch, and I hate that. Like my like ADHD didn't like kicked in, and I was like, what time is it? And I'm like, oh no, I'm doing that thing that I hate doing. But it's natural when you have, a biopic centered around someone like Aretha Franklin. It kind of does. You don't really have a choice but make it long, because you want to thoroughly tell her story. Right. And as much as the movie was able to tell, I still feels like there's so much that they left out. What I really did like, though, was how many songs and performances we got in the movie. And I don't want to see a movie about Aretha Franklin where I'm not hearing her hits and her songs.
Yeah.
So that I definitely enjoyed, and I ate up all those bits. I was not checking my watch during any of those.
I agree with you. And it's coming out this weekend. So if you want to check that out, it'll be, I believe, in theaters this weekend. If it is safe, wear a mask. If you're watching us live, we have people popping in and out watching us live. let us know what is the last thing that you watched. We would love to hear about that in the chat. All right, let's move on to a movie or show you just discovered. Wendy, what is something you just discovered?
Like a brand new one, right?
No, it can be new or old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like a brand new, but I was not aware that a new season for the movies that made us had been out. So I very recently just binged all the episodes. Oh, no, sorry, -1. I saved one for this weekend. So, but I love seeing that series because it takes you not just behind like the making of the movie, but just little information that you didn't know about what's behind the making of Jurassic Park or Forrest Gump, and how Michael J. Fox literally he wasn't able to do, he wasn't the first Marty. I actually forgot that it wasn't him initially. So to kind of, see all of that play out, and the way they edit everything, and they put a lot of comedic moments in there, I think it's really great and kind of keeps you on your toes as a viewer.
Yeah, I love that docuseries. It's so fun. I tend to like documentaries that are about TV and movies, so I love that one. Kristen, what about you? What is something you just discovered?
Something I just discovered that's coming out Friday, actually, is brand new cherry flavor. It's coming out on Netflix. I am a big Rosa Salazar fan, and I like Manny Jacinto from The Good Place, too, so I was really excited going into this, but it's weird. I like weird, but it's really weird. Where I was like, I don't recommend eating while watching.
Oh wait, what is the show about?
So the show is basically it's set in the 90s, and it's about this woman who wants to be a filmmaker, and she wants to direct her first film. She's made this short that's wild, and people are interested in it, and she starts teaming up with this guy who basically ends up trying to take advantage of her and take over the movie. And so she's trying to get her revenge. And she goes to some witchy places, some dark places to try to get her revenge. But it's definitely wild. It's definitely, I would say, a little bit gory, a bit trippy. And if you're a fan of Rosa Salazar, I feel like that's stuff that she's really good in, like The Undone and Alita, she's just in all these very interesting, weird things. But this was definitely a weird.
I'm so excited.
So it's a limited series, so if you're interested in that kind of stuff, this might be up your alley.
Is it scary?
Gosh.
I feel like it's a little bit more gross than scary.
Okay.
And, like things that things coming out of eyes and things things like that.
All right.
Oh, so not a dinner show.
Yeah, I was eating a snack and I was like, let me put this down. Yeah.
Well, I just discovered The Vault on Netflix.
Oh.
I came across it. I love a heist movie. I love all the Oceanses, all 4. I'm into. I love heists. It's a weird thing that I love. And so this was just heist movie. Also, part of it's in Spanish. And so there's subtitles, which was unexpected because you have to put your phone down. But it's really fun, and it's Freddie Highmore, the kid from Bates Motel and now The Good Doctor, I believe.
Yeah.
Getting to be British, and which he is, and it's really fun. It's a fun movie, and I am gonna say now, I'm pretty sure they set it up so that they could do a sequel.
Is it new? Did it just come out?
Yeah, it just came out. Bleeding Green says heist movies are fun.
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for agreeing with me. All right, let's move on to our next question. What is a show, I guess, or movie that you never finished? Kristen, I'd like you to start because I want to shame you.
Oh no.
Kristen, what's a show you never finished?
Loki.
Kristen, no. What happened?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So All right, so
Explain
guys,
yourself.
you know, I feel like they started out with an interesting premise, but after that third episode, I felt like nothing was really happening. Like that felt like such a filler episode to me, of just like we're on a random like planet now, and then after that, I just couldn't keep going. Maybe I need to go back. This is just a show I haven't finished, but like I guess it's not that I could never finish it, but it just wasn't appealing to me. Like I felt like I was bored watching it, and I didn't end up finishing it.
Wow.
Sorry, guys.
I mean, we still love you all the same.
I just can't believe it. All right.
Yeah, y'all sitting there like,
when
it's like there's certain characters you love to follow, and you're like, I have to watch this. I'm going to watch it no matter what. Loki's not one of those ones for me. He's one of those my best friends. She will watch anything that that Tom Hiddleston's in, but I was just kind of like, I feel like this is not for me right now.
All right.
Maybe at another time.
Wendy, what about you?
Maybe for like a rainy day, you can put on episode 4 and just push through the 4 hours. Or how many episodes are there? 6.
So
you only have 3.
Yeah.
You're so close.
Yeah, halfway there.
Oh, halfway mark.
Wendy, what's a show you never finished?
It's Jupiter's Legacy. I was so excited about the premise of the show. It looked really cool, and I liked that it wasn't just like another Marvel or DC property. Like that's like, been told many times, like a Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, things like that. And I just couldn't bring myself to watch another one. I thought the pacing was really it felt really staccato throughout the show. It didn't flow great from one scene to the next. The characters, I felt like through their growth through the episodes, like they were just kind of stuck in this one singular, I wouldn't even call it arc, and it was just hard for me because it wasn't developing, or if it was developing, it was very little at a time, and I couldn't bring myself to finish. And on top of that, many of my friends saw the show and they were just like, they weren't excited about it, so that kind of made me less excited to finish watching the show. So I just left it. I think I was on episode 3.
If I hadn't put Loki, I would have put this show, but I saw you put it, so I didn't. But I don't even think I finished the first episode. I was just like,
oh wow. Yeah.
I pushed through and saw the whole thing because I had to talk about it on a different show. And I'll say this, I understand 100%. The fact that it took you till the last episode to explain how they got their powers, like
it's like what? That's
I was so like, you didn't get there until the end. So I get it. We have some answers in the chat of things that people didn't finish. Watchlist TV did not finish Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So I'm not alone in not finishing a Marvel show.
There you go. See,
Bleeding Green says I never did finish Dexter. That's okay. It's coming back.
I don't think I did either. I don't think I finished it.
Wow. And MK Songbird says Jupiter's Legacy felt like an actual chore to watch at points. I agree. This is funny because my answer is, hold on, I have a picture for it. It's White Lotus.
Oh no! What episode did you stop in?
I gave it 2 episodes and I was like, I don't care. I don't care. Honestly, the second episode I think was better than the first.
Yeah.
I found it very funny. I don't care.
Interesting. Don't you want to find out what happened? Like,
no.
At the beginning of what we saw in episode 1?
Yeah, no. Like I said, I got to the end of the second episode. I went, I don't care.
I gotta say though, Jennifer Coolidge is giving an incredible performance.
She's amazing.
She's amazing in everything she does. I'll watch her in anything. She's one of those actors who I was like, oh, she's in it. I'll go see it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. What is a show or movie that you were obsessed with growing up?
Yael, you start first.
Okay. Yeah. I'm so excited because I'm still, it like informs my life. I was obsessed with X-Men the Animated Series.
Yes.
Honestly, I recently realized, so growing up I wanted to be an actor, and I recently realized the reason was because I wanted to be Jean Grey. I, for whatever reason, was like, oh, I'm gonna grow up and I can't be Jean Grey, but I could become an actor and play Jean Grey. And when I was little, there were no live action movies, so I thought it was a thing that could happen. But like that's how much it informed my life, is that I spent my entire life believing I was going to be an actor, and now I'm not. But I'm okay with it because I'm also not an X-Men. So. But like that show meant the world to me, and they were still my favorite superheroes. And any chance I get to talk about the X-Men is a great day. So
is your favorite X-Men Jean Grey then, or is there a different?
So my favorite X-Men is actually Siren. Because I'm Yael and she's Siren, and we have very similar powers.
I love that.
And then, you know, when I talk to people who don't know X-Men, I go, "Oh, my favorite's Rogue," because they know who she is.
Because you have to, give them like a more well-known character.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is the show that I was obsessed with growing up.
Amazing.
Kristen, what about you?
Me? Mine is Are You Afraid of the Dark? I love Are You Afraid of the Dark? I mean, I still love Are You Afraid of the Dark. Some of those episodes are still like terrifying now. Like the one with the giant doll and I think it was a Tale of a Little Bit of Night music. The doll in the closet, terrifying. But I remember like being 2 years old watching that show, which is like probably my earliest memory, like sitting on the couch watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? And I think it just like, I don't know, like I love a Canadian show, but I also love like a horror, like a children's horror anthology, like Creeped Out, Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like that's like feels so just like comfy, you know, feels so comfy.
Sure.
So I just love those movies, and I mean, I just love those shows. And then they came out with the newer ones, which I mean, it's not the same, but at least kids will get to experience Are You Afraid of the Dark. And I would love to see some type of return where it is that anthology, or where they give us a movie or something. I just feel like it's such an iconic franchise, like the Midnight Society.
Yeah.
I just loved it. And then there was so many good people that were in episodes that you like look back now and you're like, really? Like Ryan Gosling was in an episode, or like Tia and Tamara were in an episode, Melissa Joan Hart, like everybody I feel like, has been a part of that franchise for a little bit, and I think that's so cool. Yeah.
All right, Wendy, a show or movie you're obsessed with growing up?
So this will be a movie, and I was obsessed with it the second I saw a preview for it at a department store in Taiwan, and that is Disney's The Little Mermaid. So obsessed that I went beyond just watching the VHS multiple times, but I begged for merch, bed sheets, chapstick, shampoo, posters, anything that resembled Ariel, I wanted in my home. Like almost my entire room was a Little Mermaid. I was like a bit crazy. And my mom, that used to be like punishment. Like if I wasn't good, she'd be like, "No Little Mermaid for a week." And I would like boohoo myself to sleep if I couldn't watch the Little Mermaid. I just wanted to be a mermaid so badly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised you're not a redhead now.
I once upon a time, it was Coca-Cola can red in my college years.
Wow.
But it was very damaging to the hair.
Right.
So
And red doesn't come out.
Have you dabbled at all in trying like those mermaid classes where you can like,
I think it's funny you brought that up, because I did once. I got invited to, and I had so much fun. I wish I was able to hold my breath longer so I could stay in the tail longer. Like so much so where I looked into buying a tail, but they're really expensive. And I don't have a pool, so like what am I going to do with it? Like sit in my living room with hot Cheetos in a mermaid tail?
Absolutely.
Yes, I love that. That's so
We
fun.
have some answers from the chat. Bleeding Green says X-Files, the only show I never missed an episode and still watch to this day. Love that. And Watchlist TV says any Bruce Timm animated project, whether it was a show or movie, I probably watched 100 times. I get that.
Nice.
I get that.
Great choices.
Awesome. Well, now it's time for the fun. It's time for fan casting. We are going to fan cast and modernize all sorts of projects here. And today, it's Legally Blonde.
Woo! Iconic.
I'm so excited. All right. We're going to start with our votes for Elle Woods. Kristen, do you want to start?
Sure. So my whole vibe for my casting is if they were to adapt the Broadway version of Legally Blonde into a new movie. So that was my thoughts there, which, hey, could maybe happen, because aren't they doing that with Mean Girls, right? They're like,
oh yeah,
they're making, which is crazy because it's like Mean Girls was adapted from a book to a movie, then it was adapted from that movie to stage, and now it'll be adapted from stage to a musical movie. So, maybe this could happen. So my Elle, Ariana DeBose.
oh,
I mean, she's already blonde there. Perfect.
I tried to find pictures of our votes blonde.
Yes. Arina Dubose is incredible. I first saw her in Hamilton, the Hamill film, and then she was in The Prom. But I think she really shines in Schmigadoon. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet, but I was just like,
she's the school marm.
Yeah, I'm like, give her more to do. Like, she's incredible.
Yes. That's why I know her face.
She can sing, she can dance. She's going to be Anita in West Side Story, another iconic role. I just think that I really like Arina DeBose. I want to see her succeed. And like, Elle Woods, why not?
yeah.
All right, Wendy, who do you have for Elle Woods?
I kind of, funnily enough, went along the same route as Kristen, because when I think Legally Blonde, I also think movie plus the musical. So I was trying to think of actors who I know can sing, and Kristen Bell, I got to give it to her. She's not only a Disney princess who can sing, she's also, I think the first time I saw her singing in a Broadway setting was in, I don't know if she did this on stage, but it was definitely a film called Reefer Madness. And I was like, she can sing? It is so good, yes. And I was like, she can sing. What? So, and I think she'd be able to play up that kind of like the Elle before she left LA to, Elle after Harvard, her experience. I think she can kind of play that transition and journey really, really well. So I'd love to see her as Elle.
I love that. I went a completely different direction. Mine is not a musical whatsoever. I don't know if any of these people could sing. That's not true. I know some of them can. Anyway, not the point. I chose for my Elle Woods, I went with Dasha Polanco, I think is how she says her name.
Yes.
Nice.
In the Heights.
Absolutely.
She was good in the Heights.
Yeah.
She's amazing and she's beautiful. And in my version of Legally Blonde, there is a as you know, if you've watched the show before, I like to cast different body types in roles. So I'm very excited to see a fuller woman in this role. I think it would be different and fun. And I feel like she hasn't gotten to really play her range. We've seen her, I feel like, in very similar or kind of stifled roles. Watch This TV says Dove Cameron,
who is also blonde.
Yes, if we're heading younger, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, who would you have for Warner, the original boyfriend?
Wendy, who do you have?
Oh, Wendy.
I envision someone with I don't want to say it like this because this person is not, but like somebody who could like rock like a douchey, like swoopy haircut.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad I picked this picture.
So I decided to go with Zac Efron, who I am not saying he's douchey because I don't think he is. I think he's a lovely person, but he has that look. Warner is like very handsome. He can kind of play up like that not Hollywood, but that like rich boy type, as we saw a little bit, tiny bit in Greatest Showman. He can sing and dance. So if they ever decided to do like a movie musical, I think he'd be great at it.
Okay. Nice. Kristen, your movie musical?
Okay, I went, classic Broadway guy, Ben Platt. I think this could be a bit of a stretch for him. I feel like he, has played a lot of times like the more shy guy. Like he'd probably be an Emmett. But I want to see him stretch his range out a little bit, and I want to see him as a Warner. I feel like that could be really fun.
It's funny that you said that because I definitely, when you said Ben Platt, I was like, oh, he'd be a great Emmett. But
yeah,
he always plays an Emmett.
That was my original thought, and then I was like, no, I want something a little different, just a little bit different. So
okay. I wanted someone that it made sense to me as a viewer that this woman would leave her entire life to go to school for, and I went with Michael B. Jordan.
Be still my heart.
Because that is a man that I would abandon everything for. Go to Harvard Law School.
Yes.
for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was.
I see why. Oh, we got another pick here from the viewers. Joe Keery.
Joe Keery.
Ooh,
I don't know.
he's also got a great head of hair.
Who's Joe Keery?
Steve from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah. Wow, I like this. This young cast is coming really nicely from the.
It could happen. It could happen.
Awesome. All right, Vivian, originally played by Selma Blair. A classic Selma Blair role.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy, who do you have?
I gotta go with my girl Aubrey Plaza. I think she can be nice and she can be mean, and I think she's got those piercing eyes, kind of like how Selma has it too. Especially when she was in the classroom, she meets Elle and she kind of flashed the ring. Just that very subtle look. I think Aubrey Plaza. I love actors who can act with their eyes with just a single look. Very few can do it successfully and convincingly. That's not like trying to do like weird squinty things. So I would love her in that role, and especially seeing how she transitions from, like I'm against Elle to like I'm for Elle, and now we're BFFs.
I think that is actually perfect casting.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Who do you have for Vivian?
So I went with Barrett Wilbert Weed, who is Janice in Mean Girls on Broadway. She was also Veronica in the Heathers musical. And I think that she has like this like quality to her that she would be a really good Vivian. She has a little bit of like that edge, but I think that like I think she'd be really good at the beginning part of like kind of being like Elle, and then do well going into that transition. I feel like there's a little bit of like Janice vibes in that.
Yeah, I could see that. I went with Emma Roberts.
Good choice.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Because Aubrey Plaza was taken.
That's good.
No, because Emma Roberts does Mean Girl very, very well, but also I think it would be an interesting pairing to have her with Dasha, because I think they're so different, and to play up that story would be interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, next, Emmett. Who do we have for Emmett?
Kristen goes first.
I went with David Del Rio, who was in The Troop. He was Sonny for a bit in Hamilton. And I wanted to do like a Latino Elle and Emmett. I was like, I'm feeling those vibes. So I think he's so talented, and I feel like he's like underestimated a lot. Like I don't know if he's like as in as many things as he should be. I think he's very talented. So I would like to see him as Emmett.
All right. Watchlist TV says Zion Moreno for, I don't know who that is. I'm assuming for
Is that
Emmett?
from?
She's on the Netflix series Control Z and Gossip Girl.
Oh, for Vivian.
For Vivian.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right. Wendy, who do you have for Emmett?
I wanted someone who could play like adorable. And somebody you definitely want to cheer for. So I went with Taron Egerton, who I think can, put some like cute glasses on him, make him a little nerdy, a little cute. And I think I can hear him spitting out all the legal jargons, and he can sing.
That's a cute one. I like that.
Yeah.
Adorkable was hard to find. My ages are all over the place. I'm just going to say it now because I went with Randall Park.
Oh, I love.
That's
he can be adorkable.
I think all three guys can be adorkable. I think we really chose the adorable guys.
I think that what I wanted was, I was like, who's a guy that you're like, oh, he's goofy, like a John Krasinski, like goofy, and then you're like, wait, he's hot. How did I not notice?
Yes. You know who also, retrospectively, thinking about who can be Vivian, since you brought up Randall Park, is Constance Wu. She could do a good Vivian as well.
Yeah. Watchlist TV says Paul Rudd, the king of adorkable.
The never aging.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd.
All right. Okay, Professor Callahan. This was the role that was played by what is his name? I'm now forgetting his name. From Legends of Tomorrow.
I want to call him Andrew. I don't know why.
It's not it.
It's not.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
Wasn't he also in the musical as well?
Probably. He's an amazing singer.
What's his name? Victor
Garber.
Victor Garber. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, he's good.
Could not find the word Victor in my head. All right, so that's who originally played it. Kristen, who do you have?
So this was a hard one to cast, I feel like. I didn't know what to do here. Ultimately, I ended up going with Brian D'Arcy James. Who was in Smash. He was Shrek in Shrek the Musical. I don't know. I like him a lot. I mean, he, Callahan's not a likable character, but, I just like him, Brian D'Arcy James, and I think that he's probably would be good in anything. He was my Broadway pick.
He's great. And I honestly, he was on an episode of SVU, obviously. And he was creepy there. So I was like, ooh, he'd be great at this because I've seen him be creepy.
So he can do the range. He can do, gentle husband, Shrek, ogre, creepy dude. He's got the range.
All of the above.
What do you have?
I picked Russell Crowe because I wanted someone who could has that intimidating, the second you step into his classroom, you're like, oh God, should I drop the class?
Yeah.
Crap, there's no other professors teaching this. I need this to, you need it for next semester. So you got to take it. And it's one of those, you hear, his face just came up to me like, you heard about Professor Callahan? Oh, I heard his class is hard. And then he can also play that douchey, because later on what he does to Elle, I can see it all.
Mm-hmm.
The question I had was, do you mean Russell Crowe in that picture? Or do you mean 2021 Russell Crowe? Because that seems to be a very different person.
Yeah. Earlier.
This Russell Crowe.
Yes.
Okay, great. Cool.
Yeah, age, I didn't put that into consideration for this one. At first, I wanted Hugh Jackman, but I was like, oh no, but he's too likable. So I changed it.
That's true. That is true. All right, I went with someone who, it's weird that I picked this because of a different pick of mine, but he's great at creepy. Eric Roberts. And it's weird because Vivian would be played by his daughter, which I think actually could work into the story just fine, and still be weird and creepy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Professor Stromwell, sorry, who is the professor that is hard but ends up being an ally to Elle. I love some of these picks. So, Wendy, let's start with yours.
I felt like to kind of stay with the actors who can sing. I went with Miss Nicole Kidman. I think she, especially if you've watched her I know she's got 9 Perfect Strangers coming up, but Big Little Lies, and just the kind of actor she's always been phenomenal, but just the role that she's taken lately, I feel like she can start to step into, characters like this, and she can show that stern, serious, but also kind of let me give you some advice, and you can, old and wise, mature and wise character.
I love that. Kristen, who did you put?
So this was my big cameo moment. I was like, Reese Witherspoon making her comeback as this professor. Maybe she played in a different way. I just thought this is the perfect chance to bring her back in a smaller role and be like, look, she's she approves. Not that she
that'd be cool.
Not real, but
Right.
I thought that would be a fun little nod.
I absolutely love that actually.
Same.
So because you took that genius idea, I went with Viola Davis, although it is very similar to her Annalise Keating role, except that she's not helping people murder. I thought that she would do very well.
Yeah, that's a perfect one.
Yeah, perfect casting.
And then we were suggesting who could play Paulette, and we all, I think, agreed that only one person could play Paulette.
I think so.
No one can bend and snap like her.
Jennifer Coolidge just really killed that whole thing. So much so that even Ariana Grande was like, will you please be in my Thank You Next music video? It was so good that she had to get her to be in that, so I don't think anybody else could take her place. You could try, but I just think the way that she delivers the lines, they're so funny. She makes them iconic. It's just a standout role. I think she just bring her back.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this show. Wendy, where are you on the internet again? Give us your socials and such.
You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at just my name is this business down here, Wendy Lee Szany. You can find me on YouTube, the Movie Couple channel, doing all the talky nerdy stuff. And on Mondays at 11 a.m. PT, right here on this channel, HCA Pop Council.
Awesome. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So much fun. We could have done the entire cast of Legally Blonde. Maybe part two.
All right. Kristen, where are you on the internet and what are you up to these days?
Yes. You can find me everywhere at youtube.com/kmaldo or just kmaldo on Twitter, Facebook, at a one at the end. I'm on Instagram. And these days, I am hosting the show with Yael, and also I've got my podcast, Pop Culture Planet, which is focused on inclusion and representation in Hollywood. And yeah, that's really it. What about you, Yael?
I am everywhere on the internet at Yael Tygiel. That is YaelTygiel. You can find a special episode of Super Lady Hero Hour over on the Super Lady Hero Hour YouTube channel where we talked about Suicide Squad. That was earlier today. On Saturdays and Sundays, you can find the official Leverage Redemption After Show, a very distinctive podcast only on Electric now. And talking SVU on Sundays on Law & Order S Review. Because SVU is the greatest show of all time, and there's no arguing. That's it. We'll see you next week for another episode of Hollywood Approved. Bye.
Bye, everyone.